Punaktu saha viryankaravavahe tejasvinavaditamastu mavit vishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We will take up the question from the last week. Something was pending. No? The first question. Since God is a symbol, why do temples and mutts spend a lot on Abhishek? Some rituals are required to maintain the God Murti. Some may also be required to maintain the culture so that it does not get broken. Most of the money could be spent in spreading the knowledge through lectures, I feel. Mala is asking, since God is a symbol, why do temples and mutts spend a lot on Abhishek? Some rituals are required to maintain the God Murti. Some may also be required to maintain the culture so that it does not get broken. Most of the money could be spent in spreading the knowledge through lectures, I feel. Okay. So she's telling us what we should do and what we should not. So she's telling us what we should do and what we should not do. So first, it's a very common misunderstanding that people have, as in since it is symbolic, why spend so much on symbols? That's the question. Question is, since it is symbolic, why waste resources on symbolism? Why not give knowledge directly? Symbolism itself has come in because people are not ready for knowledge directly. Should understand, when people are not ready for knowledge directly, that's where symbolism comes in. Through symbolism, the person is prepared to receive knowledge. If you understand it in this way, then you know that it is not there is no resources getting wasted. Again, I repeat. Very difficult is to come to the true knowledge. Why it is very difficult to come to the true knowledge, the real knowledge? It is easy to seek knowledge that will give artha kama. It is very easy to seek knowledge that will give wealth, prosperity, acquisition, etc. Whatever can give you that, everybody gets attracted to that knowledge. So when we say it is difficult for people to come to this knowledge, Vedantic knowledge, what is the difficulty in this knowledge? The difficulty in this knowledge is look within. Look within and keep on looking within only. Look within and keep on looking within only, and wherever correction is needed, keep correcting. It is difficult to come to this knowledge. It is difficult for a person to come to this state directly. Therefore, a preparation is required. And symbolism, the temples, the cultures, the rituals, all are preparation to come to this level. For the knowledge that gives a result directly, everybody will fall for it. What is the knowledge that gives the result directly? Okay. You study medicine, you know what you will get. You study in IIT, you know what you will get. You go to Stanford and Harvard, you know what you will get. If you study Vedanta, what you will get? More confusion. As it is, I am in confusion. I study this, I get more confused. What is it the result here? It's an intangible result. So, very difficult to convince yourself to pursue a knowledge that doesn't have a tangible benefit. Very difficult to pursue that knowledge. To convince oneself is very difficult. Forget about teaching the society and all. Forget about convincing and giving lectures and spending money on all that. Forget about that. It is very difficult to convince oneself about this knowledge. Why? Because technically the result is called Adrishta Pala. One knowledge gives Drishta Pala, another kind of knowledge gives Adrishta Pala. I'll define these two words. Two important Vedantic words that we should know. Drishta and Adrishta. Drishta means visible, gross. Adrishta means invisible, subtle. And the word Adrishta today has been corrupted to become luck or Adrishta Jasti, sir. It means what? We use the word Adrishta in the sense of luck. Adrishta is a very beautiful word in the sense of invisible, intangible. So, wherever there is a tangible benefit, the mind will want it. Wherever there is intangible, mind cannot understand that. Therefore, it will not want this kind of knowledge. Now, how to prepare a person to come to this knowledge? That's where the extraordinary vision of the rishis of the past comes in. How to prepare a person to come to this knowledge? Rituals, symbolism, etc. became part of the preparatory practices in religion so that a person can get matured and come to the right knowledge. Therefore, not knowing that, not knowing the scheme, not knowing the blueprint, looking at it isolatedly, people say, why do that? Why not come to knowledge directly? If people can come to knowledge directly, if that possibility is there, symbolism is a waste of time. Symbolism is a waste of time and energy and resources. If people can come to knowledge directly, what is the challenge here? People cannot come to knowledge directly. Or if at all they come, when will they come to knowledge? They will come. It's not that they don't come. If at all they come with one foot in the grave. At that point of time, what can you do? You can only give solace. That's all. You can only give solace. One more step, the person has decided to commit suicide. At that time, they will come and say what to do. What do we say? What can you say? You can't say commit suicide. No. Neither can you give this knowledge because the person is not at all ready, prepared. What do you do then? What do you do to that society? What do you do to that human population which forms 98%? Symbolism is the method. And in symbolism, what is the beauty of symbolism? In symbolism, you treat the deity like how you treat. In symbolism, how do you treat the deity? You treat the deity like how you treat anybody else. The deity there will be, you have to treat the deity like a human person only there. That's the symbolism. Okay, when the guest comes, okay, when an important guest is going to come, what will you do? Supposing next week, Prime Minister Modi is visiting your house. What will you do? Important person coming? No. What will you do? First thing, the house will be cleaned. All things will be thrown away. It will be like it should be how it should be. Because who's coming? An important person is coming. So when God is coming, when Ram Navami is coming, you have to welcome Rama. You have to welcome Krishna. You have to welcome Jesus Christ. Doesn't matter. Any God you can welcome. Doesn't matter. Any God you welcome. But the problem here is what? Shankar. Jesus Christ, Allah, Allah, welcome பண்ணக்கூடாது. Because RSS don't accept them, no? Only Rama and Krishna only we should welcome. Why? Because that's what RSS accepts. Because he's RSS man here. Yeah. You're the RSS man. He's supporting, he's self-appointed custodian of Hindu culture and religion. Yeah. Any worthy person comes to your house, what you will do? You have to welcome. How you will welcome that person? It's called Shodasa Upachara. 16 types of welcoming. Shodasa, 16 ways. The other person is traveling and coming, no? So what do you do first? Wash the feet. The person will be dehydrated. You're walking a long distance dehydrated. So what do? You give? What do? You give a welcome drink. Yeah, first you have to give a welcome drink. Useless hotel, they give a welcome drink, isn't it? When the God comes, how it should be? You give that person a welcome drink, and then make that person comfortable, and then you praise that person, and then you ask, what do you like to eat? You don't give what you like to eat to that person. Huh? You ask, why did you cook this? I like it. Yeah, you don't do that to God. So you ask God, what you like, and you make an effort to know that, learn that, understand that, offer it, and then now God is tired. Yeah, now God is tired. Press his feet, fan him, and put him off to sleep. This is the ritual. That's all the ritual is. Wherever you go, this is the ritual. It doesn't matter which religion it is. This is the ritual. Why? God doesn't need all that. Where is God coming? As though he's not here, that he has to come. All this is nice to hear in a classroom. After the class is over, one thing goes wrong. One word, if somebody else utters, God goes out of the window, and what comes in? God has gone. What comes in? Dvesha comes in. Anger comes in. Irritation comes in. It means what? All that is said in the classroom is not making any effect on you. And still we are talking also. I don't know why we are talking. Each and every textbook we finish, I think, okay, with this classes can be wound up. And then we realize, no, we have to start with another book. Now I am debating which book to start now. Another book we have to start. And then we think we can wind it up. No, you can't wind it up. Start with another book. Why? Because it is not having any effect. Why? Because the sequence is not understood. What is the sequence? It is essential to have this rituals, symbolism, etc. for the society that has to be prepared to receive this knowledge. And then in the rituals, we become subtler and subtler and subtler. It's a slow, gradual preparation. There's a subtlety in the rituals. What is subtlety in the ritual? First, you will have a god which is carved by a human being. That becomes the deity. And then you go to a place where just a stone becomes a deity. Subtlety there. What we call a swayambhu, no? Subtlety. And then you further evolve. And then you further evolve into shifting the deities. What becomes a deity? Shivalinga can become the deity. A flame, a fire can become the deity. A sound can become the deity. What is sound becoming the deity? Which is the subtlest? Om. So right through, we are in need of symbolism. Knowledge comes and says, where you can see God, where you can see everything as divine, symbolism is not required. How do you know that you are seeing God? How do you know that you are seeing divine? In my dreams, Krishna came, sir. Therefore, I am seeing divine. Nah? What is the indication of seeing divine? Chapter 12, Bhagavad Gita gives 35 indicators of seeing divine. 35 indicators is given. What are the 31st indicator? Is what? Adrishta sarva bhutanam. No dvesha towards, no dvesha, no hatred. You follow? No hatred. Even if there is a hatred towards a single entity, a single person, it means you have not yet seen divine. Therefore, hatred towards low beings. And maximum hatred is spread in the name of God and religion. Isn't it? Maximum hatred is promoted in the name of God and religion. It means what? Divine is not seen at all. Therefore, where do we have to go back to? We have to go back to understanding the symbolism, keep up to the symbolisms, follow that, simultaneously gain knowledge and mature so that you have transcended the symbols. As you are gaining knowledge, don't drop it. The mistake that people make is, even in this classroom, so many people sitting here, I know, because they have told me individually. After coming to these classes and all, bhakti has gone, sir. Before coming to the class, I had lot of bhakti and all that. After coming to these classes, what happened? Whatever bhakti was there, went away, sir. I don't know whether to take it as a complaint or a compliment or a curse. I don't know what it is. Why bhakti goes out? Bhakti never went out. In the first place, there was no bhakti at all. Understand it like that. There was no bhakti at all in the first place. You thought, that individual thought, they were having devotion. Because knowledge reinforces the devotion. Knowledge strengthens it. Knowledge will not take it away. Therefore, these symbolisms, these rituals are all very important. A society that is not ready for knowledge must follow the symbolism. Why? In following the symbolism, there is a possibility. What is the possibility? The possibility of asking a question. What is it meaning? What is the meaning of this? If you don't keep to the ritual of doing pranams, the next generation doesn't even have the possibility of asking the question, why do we have to do Pranams. So by you doing pranams, what are you keeping? You are keeping the possibility of knowledge alive. How are you keeping the knowledge alive? The child can ask the question. Anyway, it's only attitude. No, sir, it doesn't really matter. Isn't it? When the elders come, what you have to do? What is the culture here? When the elders come, you have to do. You have to prostrate. Isn't it? Not that they have done anything meaningful. Yeah, not that they have done anything meaningful. That is not for you to decide. That's not for you to say. That's not for you to decide that. When they come, you have to pay your respects. Now, when you are doing that, the child is watching you doing that. What are you transferring there? What are you transferring there? You are transferring the knowledge. What is the knowledge? Pay respect. Pay respect. This ritual keeps the knowledge of pay respect to the elders. When the teacher comes, what you should do? You don't say hi, isn't it? You don't say hi. And when the teacher comes, what you should do? You stand up. If the relationship between the teacher and the student is, if the teacher sees the student as clients, what will be that relationship? The teacher can see the student as a student, or the teacher can see the student as. How many people are coming for this Saturday class? I don't know. How many are there? Is there anybody, first of all? Yeah. How many are there? Okay, 25 people are there. I don't know. 25 people are there. Suppose I have 25 clients. How ugly it is, no? Are you able to follow? How ugly it is. A doctor can have a client. A business person can have a client if the teacher is also doing a job only. It's not that the teacher is doing anything different. The teacher is also doing the job. The teacher also has bills to pay. I also have bills to pay. Yeah. I'm also every now and then I'm also trying to expose. Yeah. The teacher also have bills to pay. I also have bills to pay, and what the students give is what make the teacher pay the. But will the teacher call the student as the client, customer? Should not. Correct? Today, what has happened? It has come to that state. It has come to that state now. Therefore, you tell the student, respect the teacher. The student turns back and says, the student will turn back and say, what? I have paid, no, what is the problem? I have paid. It means what? Some of the beautiful phenomena or some of the fantastic aspect of culture is being lost because the rituals are lost. The rituals are lost. When the rituals are lost, the culture is lost. When the culture is lost, knowledge is lost. Therefore, in Vedic tradition, in Vedantic tradition, we have a lot of value for the rituals and the culture. Are you able to follow? It's very important to understand this angle. Otherwise, when we are letting go of the ritual, what are we letting go of? The knowledge. We don't understand that. Why? Now I'll explain to you psychologically. The values are subtler. Rituals are grosser. The values are subtler. Rituals are grosser. How can you explain a subtler value to a child? That's the challenge. How can the parent tell the child that respect the past, have gratitude to the past? See, respecting the elders means what? Respecting the past, having gratitude to the past. That's what it means. So, which is a very subtler value, which people cannot, a child cannot understand. Now, how can you educate that child? You can't give a lecture to that child. So, what did they do? They developed a whole set of rituals. How do you respect the past? When an elderly person comes in, that elderly person refers to the past. And when you pay respect to that person, you are being grateful to the past. That's how ritual keeps knowledge alive. That's how rituals keep knowledge alive. Why? Because it is values. See, ultimately what matters is values. The higher values, the nobler values. Now, the challenge here is what? When the vast majority of the society is not matured enough to directly conceive and understand the values, how to educate them, how to help them? That's where rituals came in. That's why rituals came in. And invariably what will happen? There will be an element of mechanical thing in a ritual. People may not understand. Doesn't matter, keep up to it. Doesn't matter, keep up to it. Better is to understand and follow. Even if you don't understand, as you are making an effort to understand, what you got to do? Follow. Follow. Values are subtler. Actions are grosser. What people have access to? That is why we talk about two things, no? Character and conduct. Character is subtler. People have no access to your inner nature. People cannot see you. People cannot know you from inside. Therefore, what becomes very important? Conduct becomes important. Why? Because the conduct is gross and people have access only to the gross. Yadyata charati sreshtaha tattat eva itara janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaha tat anuvartate. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 21. They have access only to your actions. They have access only to your conduct, not to the inner values. Why? Because they are not yet mature to understand the inner values. So it means it is very relevant. It means it is very important to stick to. It is very relevant. It is very important to stick to rituals. Only difficulty here is which ritual is right, which ritual is wrong. What is inferior, what is superior? That's Santa. Ghost illa anga dhaan varudhu illaya. Fight ella comes there only. What is the fight? Which ritual is right, which ritual is wrong, which ritual is inferior, which ritual is superior. All rituals are carriers of knowledge. All rituals are carriers of knowledge. When you see ritual as carrier of knowledge, you will respect it. If you see it as mechanical, useless, waste of time, you will want to discard it. Again, I repeat. If you see a ritual as carrier of knowledge, you will respect it. If you see it as mechanical, superstitious, blind faith, what you will do? You will want to discard it. In Vedanta, we don't talk about discarding the rituals. In Vedanta, we talk about inner maturity, where you are not in need, you are not dependent on these rituals. In Vedanta, we are talking about an inner maturity where you are not dependent on these rituals to remember the divine. Otherwise, the vast majority of the society is dependent, in need of these rituals. Therefore, we will not call it as a waste of resources. We will not call it as a waste of resources. Why pour milk on a stone, sir? Why pour milk on a stone and waste milk? It can be given to poor children, no? Logic is very correct. Logic is very correct. How do you answer that? We don't know how to answer that. Therefore, what do we do? Oh, maybe what they are asking. My child, sir, what I learned from my children, sir, what you learned from your, why they come and ask you questions which you don't have an answer to. You follow what I'm asking? It's a stone, no, sir. Of course, it is a stone. And why pour on that unnecessarily? Waste of time it is. And we are all scientific people here. We work on artificial intelligence and algorithms nowadays. We don't work on these temples and things and all. We don't work on. We work on AI and algorithm. Everything is based on this, no? AI and algorithms. That's all it matters now. Level YouTube lo pota kuda artificial intelligence and algorithms. It decides based on that only. And living in this advanced scientific society, all this looks very silly and immaterial. And we ourselves have the doubt. First of all, it's not the children is asking. We ourselves have the doubt. Children only exposes it. How do you answer that? I'm not going to answer. Please don't ask me. How do you? I don't. I'm not going to answer. I'm only saying how to keep the rituals live. Because through the ritual, something subtler is conveyed. Remember the formula and then apply it. The ritual conveys a subtler value. A ritual conveys a subtler knowledge. Example, when an elderly person comes in, you pay respect. When the teacher comes in, you stand up. It can be a ritual. It can be done with understanding. Or understanding like that. If there is a proper understanding, automatically that person will do. If there is an understanding, automatically when the primary school teacher comes in, you will stand up. In fact, the primary school teacher is still teaching ABCD only. She has not grown in knowledge. You have grown in knowledge and understanding. And she may have no clue to what you know. And yet, when she walks in, what is the ritual? You stand up. Through this standing up, what are you conveying? It's not fear. It's not anything. Through that, what are you conveying? Recognizing that without you, I wouldn't have been here. Without you, I won't be here. Gratitude. That's all. How do you show your gratitude? Gratitude as a value you should have. Now, you can't just have a value of gratitude and stay quiet. Clear? I have all gratitude, isn't it? Class we can sit, isn't it? When you have gratitude, it will show up in action. It has to show up in action. And when it shows up in action for the others, it is for you, you are conveying the knowledge. For the other person, it is a ritual, and that person will come and ask why. You are keeping the knowledge alive. And they found out, this is the crux. The easiest way to keep the knowledge alive is not through lectures. Books and lectures is not the method by which knowledge can be kept alive. Knowledge can be kept alive through rituals. That is why 98% of it is rituals. 2% of it is knowledge. Why? Knowledge can be kept alive only through rituals, not through lectures and discourses and books. Why? The books are a group of words. What is a book? What is a book? Book is nothing but a group of words put together becomes a book, no? Becomes a sentences, and a few sentences put together becomes paragraph. A few paragraph put together becomes a chapter. A few chapters put together becomes a book. Ultimately, what is a book? Words. Remember the Hamlet play? What he used to refer? When Polonius, the minister, asked Hamlet, what are you reading? He said, he didn't say books. He said, words, words, words. It's a word. Now, it has to be taught. It has to be communicated. Very difficult. Therefore, another easy method is a better method. For the one who doesn't have the penetrating capacity to understand through the word, the better for that society, for that section of the society, what is the method of teaching? Ritual becomes a method of teaching. And rituals differ, isn't it? Rituals differ. One society will say, blow the light off. Another society will say, you should not blow the light off. One ritual is, you should blow the light. Correct? One ritual is, you blow the light off. In another ritual, you don't blow the lamp off, no, the God lamp. You don't go on, they say, isn't it? Now, what is right and what is wrong? We are not discussing which ritual is right, which ritual is wrong. This ritual is conveying a knowledge. This ritual is conveying a knowledge. And rituals are carriers of knowledge. That's why even in Thesis on God, I think in first chapter, when we did the rituals, we spoke about it in detail. We spoke about this in detail. We spoke about the relevance of rituals in keeping the knowledge alive. Therefore, we do that. Like, you say, when you come out, don't come with empty forehead. Put something on the forehead and come. Now, what you put on the forehead is not for you to see, no. So you can't see here. It is for others. So it means what? It's a reminder. So when you put here, it's a reminder. What is a reminder? Matching a dress ponnu, isn't it? What is a reminder? It should match, isn't it? The band, yeah, the band, isn't it? Yeah, the band, the rings, the frame, the pottu, the dress, the shoe, the handbag, everything should match. Therefore, it still doesn't matter, keep it. Even still doesn't matter, keep it. Why? Because it's a reminder. What is a reminder? Reminder of the pursuit. Reminder of the pursuit. And when you keep it, you stand in front of the mirror and keep it and utter a mantra also. Yeah. You stand in front of the mirror and keep it. As you are standing in front of the mirror and keeping it, you utter the mantra also. Yeah. That's why it's called Bhasmadharana mantra. Whenever you keep something on your forehead, you have to say a mantra. That's called Bhasmadharana mantra. That Bhasmadharana mantra, popularly called Mrityunjaya mantra. It's popularly called Mahamrityunjaya. Actually, it is Bhasmadharana. Symbolism. It reminds you. Why? Because we are in need of reminders. Second important aspect of ritual is association of ideas. Mind works based on the principle of association of ideas. Therefore, it is very important. What is association of idea? Remember Swamiji's example, and beautiful example he gives for the association of idea. What is the example he gives for the association of idea? Sterilized bedpan. Sterilized bedpan. Can you eat? It's also a holder only, no. It's also a plate only, no. It's also a holder only. And it is sterilized also, brand new, sterilized. Still, why can't you touch it? Why can't you use it? Association of ideas. Mind works based on the principle of association of ideas. Therefore, it is very important as to what you associate with. Rituals are carefully designed so that you can associate with something divine. Rituals are carefully designed. It's well thought of and carefully designed so that you can associate with a higher value, divine. Higher value means divine. Both are one and the same. So that you can associate with the higher value, and associating with that higher value is a preparation for recognizing the divine. That's the sequence. Cut. Mahala ivulalam kekave illa. Mahala never asked all this. She never asked all this. You only innocuously made some statement and should have even forgotten that. Yeah. But we are sitting and doing time pass till. Yeah, we are sitting and doing time pass till 9 o'clock. This is answering the first question. Second question. Second question. In Sri Rangam, there is a story that some saints endured so much of pain in saving the idol from the invasion of some Mughals, etc. Idols, just like any biological entity, is bound to perish. So, they could have easily remade it without getting attached to it or enduring the pain while protecting it. How to understand these kind of episodes? மாலாவை பேன் பண்ணுங்க கிளாஸ்ல இருந்து இல்லையா? What people don't want to touch and talk, she is touching that. In Sri Rangam, very good Mala. In Sri Rangam, there is a story that some saints endured so much of pain in saving the idol from the invasion. Idols, just like any biological entity, is bound to perish. True. So, They could have easily remade it without getting attached to it or enduring the pain while protecting it. How to understand these episodes? When the great saints go through pain, we see it as pain. For them, there is no pain. First, you should understand that. We see it as painful. For them, it's not a pain at all. Why it's not a pain to them? And don't go by what you read in this history books. Who writes you will write the history according to your mindset. No, so don't worry about that. But the fact is what? There are people who gave up their life. Correct. There are people who gave up their life to protect some. It simply shows their conviction. That's all. Not attachment. It simply shows their conviction. They are convinced about it. And why do we place them on a higher pedestal? Because they didn't murder the other for their conviction. One thing is you murder the other for your conviction. Other thing is you do tapas for your conviction. For your conviction, you cause pain to the other is one. Another is for your conviction, you do tapas. What these great saints did, they took it upon themselves to protect. They never went and they never caused pain to the other. Why? Because Adrishta sarvabhutana. They cannot hate. But at the same time, it got to be protected also. It's not about protecting the idol. It is about living a life so that it is about living a life of example. Yadyata charatis. Remember that verse? So many questions will be answered if you remember that one verse. Yadyata charati sreshtaha tattateva idarajanaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaha tat anuvartate. They want to set an example. And in order to set that example, they had a particular lifestyle. They chose to lead that particular lifestyle in order to lead by example, though they are so objective inside. So they are very objective inside. So they would have exactly known what they do, but still they live a particular lifestyle. And that lifestyle is meant to lead by example. You follow, Mala? Therefore, they are not really in pain or suffering or anything. They also know the idols. That's why every few years or every few decades, they keep changing it. There is an elaborate ritual for it. They change it. They all know that. When they want to lead a life when they want to convey a message, one way of conveying the message is by continuously talking about it. The better way of conveying the message is living it. That's why every other day there will be a question. In the academy, whenever the group comes, there will be a question. The question is, what is the best way to teach Vedanta to the children, sir? And he gives the standard answer. What is the answer? Not the best way, the only way. And that only way is the best way. What is the only way, the best way? By you living it. That answer nobody likes. That answer nobody wants. No, sir. That and all will take very long time and all. In fact, I don't even have any plans of living it and all. So why are you unnecessarily putting your thoughts into my head? I am only asking how to communicate Vedanta to my children. If you are really interested in communicating Vedanta to your children, what you have to do? Live it. Living it means you have to lead by example. That is, it means lot of tapas is required from your side. No. School liye solli kuthita easy agulla, sir. How many people have given me this advice, sir? Including the Mahatmas in this classroom also. Yeah. Including so many wise men in this classroom also have given me this advice. School liye solli kuthita nalla irukulla, sir. How can it be taught in the school? For this can be taught only at school. Max science solli kodumutti. Character and conduct has to be taught at home. What we want to outsource everything, huh? Prasad, correct, no? We want to outsource everything. We want to outsource. What we want to outsource? Even the value education also we want to outsource. Somebody should come and teach. And who's that somebody? Poor fellows. I don't know why society has so much of hatred towards those school teachers, sir. The entire society has so much of frustration, hatred towards the school teachers, because for all the problem, who's the cause? Srikanth. Enna problem nadandhalum yaar cause? Teacher sarilla, sir. Even in this classroom, if nothing goes wrong, if nothing goes right, who is the cause? Vijay. Yaar ba? Obviously, Acharya, you only. Yeah. Obviously, you only. Where is the problem? Yeah. Outsource. We want outsource. Why they are called great saints? Because they never outsourced. They lived it. That's the only difference. Are you able to follow the difference? You don't outsource. You have to live it. Now it is all about. It's all about. Correct, no? Everything can be outsourced, isn't it? Cooking you need not do, it can be outsourced, isn't it? Washing you need not do, it can be outsourced. Everything can be outsourced. Similarly, higher values also, who should teach? Schools, they should teach. What? In 40 minutes they have to teach, yeah? And they come home and see exactly the school teaches in 40 minutes. They come home and see exactly the opposite. And what will they go by? The mind has the tendency. See, when you are a child, remember this. When the mind is not grown, it means it's a child. What is the tendency of the child? The tendency of the child is to imitate. Mind imitates. The tendency of the child is to imitate. Imitate who? Grandfather, grandmother, father, mother. The child imitates. That's why the vocabulary of the child is an indicator of the vocabulary used in the house, no? The vocabulary of the child is an indicator of what? The vocabulary that is used in the house. Every 2 sentences, if the child is giving adjectives, yeah, arivilla, moola illa, now you understand what? Maybe that's the language that is being constantly used in the. Why? Because the child imitates. Now, what is the child in you? The mind. The mind imitates. Mind naturally Imitate. So what these great masters did, they chose to live a lifestyle. Even by imitation, if you imitate that also, you can be saved. What a great sacrifices they have made. They chose to live a lifestyle. And by imitating that lifestyle also, you can be protected. Why? Because in that lifestyle, there is a sense control. In that lifestyle, there is a self-control, no pampering, no indulgences. Even by imitating, you are saved and protected. Are you able to follow? That's why we have a great regard and respect and value for these teachers of the past. It's not a sentimental relationship. It's not a sentimental thing. They chose a lifestyle as an example where they could have lived a life in any way they want. They could have lived a life in any way they want because their objectivity levels, they have transcended the karmic things and all. Therefore, they could have lived a life in any way they want, but still they lived a particular lifestyle. For what? Because at least the 10 people who are following will imitate that. And even by imitating, you are protected, saved. And then some will ask a question. There is an answer. Through understanding, the person matures. Therefore, no saint suffers. No saint endure pain. When he was put on cross, Jesus Christ said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Innocent man, he was only trying to help the society. And the result is put on cross. You know what happened to Socrates, no? You know Socrates. Yeah. One of the great philosophers of the West. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, the parampara of the Western philosophy. Socrates is on top. And Socrates was given poison. Socrates was sentenced to death. And how he was sentenced to death? By drinking the poison. Yeah. Plato is the richest aristocratic disciple of Socrates. A group of students goes and meets Socrates and tells Socrates, Plato writes all this, sir. Who writes all this? Plato writes all this. For Socrates never wrote anything. What all we know about Socrates is what Plato spoke about Socrates. Extraordinary man, Socrates. A few students met Socrates in the prison and said, "Where will you get a man like you, Socrates? Very difficult is to get a person like you. And you should not be dying in the prison. All arrangements are made for you. All arrangements are made. All that you got to do is what? When the clock strikes 12 midnight, all that you got to do is start walking. All the prison gates will be open for you." It means what? Ram Subramaniam. All the prison gates will be open for you. என்ன அர்த்தம்? நாங்க எல்லாரையும் கவனிச்சிட்டோம்னு அர்த்தம். Isn't it? நாங்க எல்லாரையும் கவனிச்சிட்டோம்னு அர்த்தம். We have taken care of them. We have grease the palm. Correct? We have greased. All their palms are greased. All that you got to do, Socrates, is walk out. And there will be the chariot there. Sit in that. Before the sun rises, you will be out of the country. And we want to protect you. Where will we get a man like you, Socrates? And if you have lived with a guru like Socrates, you will understand that. Otherwise, it may not sound anything at all to the vast majority. If you had a teacher like him, if you have lived with the teacher, you will know. Socrates said, for me to live, I have to die. For me to live, I have to die. We are still talking about him today because he set an example. What is the example? Obey the rule of the land. Obey that. Obey that first. For he could have easily walked out. Are you able to follow? Objectivity means what? Idella fanatics, sir. Objectively, he could have walked out and created 10 more Platos, no? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You follow? It doesn't work that way. Therefore, what he did, he drank the poison. On the appointed day, he drank the poison. And they all started crying. Socrates said, cry in the evening, he says. Cry in the evening. Why? Because I have only a few hours left. Whatever questions you have, ask now and cry later. Cry later. Yeah. Oh, and he started walking. Why he started walking? Because the poison started working. He was choking. He was suffocating. He was choking. He was walking. They were crying. And they asked him, you have never asked us for anything, Socrates. You have never asked us for anything. Is there anything that you would want to ask now? Last words of Socrates. Give the cock to the neighbor that I promised. My neighbor asked me, he is in poverty. The neighbor asked me, can you get me a cock? I said, okay. Before I can get him a cock, I'm in prison and I'm dying. If you really want to do something, get him a cock. Socrates died. Of course, when the poison went inside, the body was going through pain. He was choking, the body was going through pain and all that. And as far as the saint is concerned, you have to lead by example. So there is no pain. In fact, they go through it so joyfully, so blissfully. Why? Because that's how knowledge is. In that act, knowledge is communicated. And they are so interested in communicating the knowledge, not the pain. They don't mind. In fact, there's no pain at all. In fact, there's no pain. Therefore, what do you understand? Where there is identification, there is no pain. You are hungry, the child is also hungry. What will you do? You will not tell the child, wait, I will eat and come. No. Why? Are you not in pain? But still you do that. No. Why? Where there is identification, there is no pain. Where there is lack of identification, there is pain. You follow? So these great men have so much of identification, there is no pain at all, which will be very difficult for us to understand. You follow? Venkat, அப்படி இப்படின்னு 8:50 வரைக்கும் டைம் பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன் இல்லையா? So no text to today. Naranji, I have not yet decided. I know a time. We will be starting the Holocaust of Attachment next week. We are going to do the book Holocaust of Attachment from next week. It's decided. But before that, we thought we'll just take up some pending clarifications and then move on to the new text. In another gear, yeah, thesis on God length. If thesis on God is one gear, Holocaust of Attachment is another gear. So we will discuss that also when we go there, whatever it is. Where there is identification, there is no pain. If there is a pain, means lack of identification. In fact, carefully follow now. Pain, self-identification, selfishness. Wherever there is pain, it is out of selfishness, self-identification. In true affection, there is no pain. Are you able to follow? Are you able to understand the difference? Where you identify with the other, there will not be a pain. If there is a pain, means it is self-identification. In fact, as the Holocaust of Attachment, we are going to study. We spoke so much about God, 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 God. We were all floating on God. I thought, no, konja practical pesalam. Yeah, come down to some practical understanding. And once you are very bored with this practical understanding, we will go to another text about God. Yeah. Mati, we will keep confusing people, isn't it? Why don't allow people to settle in? If there is a pain, means self-identification. And remember, wherever we talk about pain here, we are not talking about the physical pain. We don't talk about the physical pain. We are talking about the mental agony. The mental suffering is the pain in philosophy. Please understand that in this classroom, in Vedantic classroom, whenever we talk about pain, we do not talk about the physical pain. We are talking about pain as in mental pain, the agony, the frustration, the depression, the sorrow, the suffering. That is what we call as pain, not the physical pain. Why not the physical pain? As long as you have a body, that body will have some problem, and that problem will be a pain. Will stop. But that problem need not affect your mental equanimity. Physical pain need not affect your mental equanimity. Why physical pain is becoming so much? It's not physical pain that is so much. Your mental pain is so much, which is manifesting as physical pain. If the mental pain is not that much, any amount of physical pain you can, any amount of physical pain will be a child's play. You'll say it's okay and you will keep moving. Are you able to follow? If physical pain is weighing you down, if physical pain is sitting you down, it means it's not the physical pain that is weighing you down. It is the mental, it's the mental pain. What is the mental pain? In terms of agony, sorrow, pain, suffering. And what is the cause for mental pain? What is the cause for mental pain? The cause for mental pain is selfishness. And what is selfishness? Self-love. What is selfishness? Self-love. What is self-love? I am in love with myself. I am in love with myself. And everybody is in love with their own selves. Whoever caters to that, you will say, whoever caters to you, you will say whoever pampers you. Whoever caters to you, you will say oh, that person understands me, sir. That person understands me. Only one person understands me, sir. Holocaust of attachment says, from where you get all these ideas? Only one person is pampering you temporarily, that's all. Oh, and I can't live without that person. Why you can't live without that person? Because you can't live without that pampering. Are you able to follow? It's not that you can't live without that person. Why you can't live without that person? It's not that person you want. You want the person's pampering. That day that person says, I am fatigued, I am tired of pampering. What will you say? Out you go. Correct, Aparna. Correct. Out you go. Next person is ready. Yeah, the next person is ready. This is called selfishness. This is called attachment. And this attachment is a holocaust. That's what we are going to, that's where we're going to study. So, what is attachment? Attachment is self-love. In the way we understand love, it's not liberating at all. Even though all the poetry says, even though we all say love is liberating, love is liberating, love is liberating, does any lover come and said it is liberating? Why? Because it's not love at all in the first place. Because love implies control. Love means control. Endrina, endrigno, ukarna, ukarna, isn't it? Don't turn that side, na, that person should not turn. Turn that side, na, the person should keep looking at that direction all the time. Why? Because you love me, no? Do you love me? First question. Answer to that question. If you are wise, you will never answer that question. Yeah. But we are all wise through experiences, isn't it? Not through knowledge and understanding. We are all wise through experience. So we make the mistake of saying yes. Get up. No, I can't get up. But you said you love me. What does love got to do with getting up? If you love me, get up. Sit down. Do you love me or not? Now the person is getting suffocated now. What is the suffocation? What is the suffocation now? Control. Are you okay till now? When you are, as long as you are controlling the other, you feel all right. As long as you are controlling the other, you feel life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. Everything is falling in its place, sir. Life is, I don't know, life is only flowers after that. Why? Because there is somebody dancing to your tunes. The moment that somebody stops dancing, what happens? The moment that person stops dancing, what happens? There's no such thing called love at all in this world, sir. He cheated me. I got cheated. Holocaust of attachment. Thesis on God is a mirror showing you who you are. Holocaust of attachment is another mirror showing you what you should not be. Both are mirrors. That's why we are giving two mirrors. Yeah. Srikant, some justification I have to give, no? The justification. Some justification I have to give to do a text, no? Thesis on God shows a mirror. What is that mirror? Who you are. Holocaust of attachment is also a mirror. What you should not be. Thesis on God said what you should be. Holocaust of attachment is going to say what you should not be. And why it is called Holocaust. We'll be discussing all that. When we go into the text, we give short introductions, no? So don't worry. In our short introductions, you will get to know. Why I spent some time on those questions is because to explain the importance of the ritual. How? Because we'll never know when we will study thesis on God again. When we will get a chance to study all this in detail. Therefore, we spent one more day discussing this important aspect of God. That is rituals. And we used Mala's question as an excuse. Her question became an excuse to discuss this. What? One of the important aspects of religion is rituals. And it is the rituals that keeps the knowledge alive. And it is a ritual that keeps the knowledge alive. The ideal way of keeping the knowledge alive is by living it. And even if a person is living it, we won't know that person is living it. Why? Because you need a Milton to understand a Milton. Therefore, what is the help to the rest of the society? A life of a pattern. Ritual means a pattern. That's all ritual means. Ritual means a pattern. Ritual means an action. Ritual means a pattern. And that pattern is very important to keep the knowledge alive. With this, we conclude for today and we continue with the new text, Holocaust of Attachment, next week.